We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast. I am your host on this magical mystery tour that we call Ole Miss Fandom, Stephen Willis, and thank you very much for joining me today. As you can see over on the right, we have a schedule of high points for today's Media Days activity. We're going to talk a lot about Media Days. We're going to talk what Ole Miss is going to try to use Media Days for. And we're going to discuss breakout players over the course of the season from the newcomers. As you can see them popping up as well. That's what we're going to get to do on today's show. But thank you very much for joining us. Before we get started, I want to tell you about Travel and Cruise World. In this age of COVID uncertainty, it's really hard to plan a vacation, but it would be really nice if you had a person on the scene where you're going. So if you're going to Central Florida, give Travel and Cruise World a call at 1-800-330-7461. Again, that is 1-800-330-7461. And those guys will take care of you. They'll let you know the rapidly changing situations that come up and what you need to know for your vacation so you're not ending up wasting money for something that eventually is not going to happen. So give Scott a call. Tell him I sent you over. That is 1-800-330-7461, and they will help you out. Also, if you want to watch the show, we're available on Twitter at The Stephen Willis and at The Rebel Walk. You can catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast, POMcast. Give us a follow, give us a like. We'd appreciate that. We have a group as well over there that you can participate in the conversation. You can also catch us at facebook.com/The Rebel Walk. Same thing. Like, follow, whole ordeal. You can catch us on YouTube at Positively Ole Miss. Subscribe, hit the bell. They do a really good job. They're probably the best notification system out there. So you'll not only know that we're streaming, you'll know what we're streaming about, and you can determine if it's something you want to watch live, you want to catch on demand. It's a really cool feature. So I would highly recommend subscribing and hitting the bell and taking all notifications in at YouTube as well. And we're on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss, all one word. It's pretty cool. We hit 10 followers on Twitch, so that's pretty cool. So that's growing up too. YouTube's growing up. Everything's growing up. I really do appreciate it. We got nearly 20 followers yesterday on Facebook, so I appreciate all of that. Obviously this month another record set on the podcast. And, I mean, it's just like one after another. And we got like 10 days left in July. We've already broke the record for a month. So thank you very much for that as well. If you want to catch us on the podcast, we're on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and Pandora. We're on smaller podcatchers as well. But if we listed them all, we'd be here all day. This is only a 30-minute show. But thank you very much for joining us today. Today is Lane Kiffin Day at SEC Media Days. And that's going to be a pretty big thing, you know. What will Ole Miss use Media Days for? Because, you know, they're going to get there and talk all the coach speak. And they had the best offseason known to man. And they're bigger, faster, stronger. And all the stuff that people are going to say in this. But what are they using this event for? And in my opinion, it is going to be all about branding. And I don't mean individual branding, like for Matt Corral and Jalen Jones being there, although there's probably some that will come from this. But it's the full team branding, the culture. This is Ole Miss football. You're trying to build yourself up to be a juggernaut. You need to get there, and there's steps you have to take. And we are, competition. That's number one. Everything's about competition with this program. Second one is about fun. It's going to be fun to play at this program. And 3 is going to be a pro mindset. Those are the 3 elements, 3 tenets of the Ole Miss football culture. And I believe that will be on display today for outside recruits looking at coming in. I expect them to do quite well. Oh, also, before we get started, there's a tweet that was sent out yesterday that Randall Joyner at I think it was the TTHC coaching clinic, forgive me if I got that wrong, but just a massive crowd over to him. People are attracted to this man. And I don't mean that anything funny. I mean, there's a charisma about him that can help him, and it's why he is highly successful on the recruiting trail. We had a nice little uplift last week based off of Randall Joyner recruits. So it's interesting to see that is an arsenal of weapons that we can use, or weapon we can use in this fight for recruiting. And you can all these staff members are great recruiters. They would not be one of the 10 if they were not great recruiters. If you're an X's and O's only guy, you're going to be an analyst on the staff. That's just the way they're going to construct it. But I expect them to use it to brand the culture, to get the word out for the culture, have fun, the pro mindset, and of course the competition. And that'll all be said as a way to supplement a recruiting message. If you're talking to a kid and all of a sudden, hey, this is going on, it's going to be massive competition, they're going to talk about competition today. They're going to talk about pro mindset today, because those are the buzzwords that people want to hear. The main thing that recruiters want to know, or recruits want to know, is that if they go to your school, you're going to put them in the best position possible. If they don't do the work and don't get drafted, that doesn't really count. But I'm talking about, will you do the work that is required? Will you walk the walk instead of just talking the talk? And in this one-time transfer world, it is going to be imperative that you tell the truth whenever you are promising. Back in the days of pie in the sky, promising them everybody everything, and then about July 27th have a meeting in the team room where you tell them, hey, that was recruiting, welcome to Ole Miss, this is going to be a different animal. No, that's not going to happen now because of the one-time transfer rule. And if you lie and you get off on the wrong foot and do not repair that relationship, they are going to bail. That is going to happen. You got 4 years to make an impression to get yourself to the league. You are about 2% of the college football players go to the league. It's some astronomically small number, even at the Power 5 level. They want to maximize those 4 years, and hopefully 3 years, if we're going to be honest about it. If it's a really great player, they're looking at 3 years. Now, unless you're somebody like Arch Manning, who has the potential to make $5 or $10 million and name, image, and likeness at Ole Miss, just based off of his name, his history, and everything going on, I understand. He might be willing to stay for 4 years or 5 years, whatever that might be. But for the number rank and file player that is a long snapper or something like that, they're trying to get to the league and they're trying to find their angles, whatever their angle is, to get where they want to be. And if you lie to them, they're going to leave. It is imperative that in this age of everything is performative, real has to come from college football coaches. It's kind of interesting, everything that's going on, because they will get out of there because of this one-time transfer rule. and they will transfer in a way that will help their name, image, and likeness. For instance, if you are number 32 on the Ole Miss roster, not the jersey number, you're like the 32th ranked player on the Ole Miss roster, and you're like, well, I can't get name, image, and likeness. I'm not going to go to the league, so I've got a short period of time to maximize basically my name. And he decides to go to, let's say Texas State, and I forget the name of the town, but it's in between Austin and San Antonio. So you got big cities nearby, you've got the local area with the college, and all of a sudden you went from being the number 32 most talented player in the roster to being the second, third, the most talented player in the roster, and you have a chance to monetize that, to get a little bit of what you can, to where, since a scholarship isn't enough. Used to, a scholarship was enough. You got a scholarship, that was your payment, everything at the payment was at the beginning. You were supposed to go through the whole time, and then if you made it to the pros, great. If not, you were just kind of on your own. They did things to support you, whatever. You end up selling cars in Memphis, whatever's going on. This will allow players to get to a location and to a place where they can profit off their money. They can profit off their name. So that is going to be the thing. So I hate to get off on a tangent there, but in this thing, they're going to put out the brand that is Ole Miss football. Competition, fun, and pro mindset. Those three things, those three tenets, and I think you're going to hear them be said. And I'm not expecting anything today that's like Spurrier-esque at media days. I expect a relatively low-key, business-like approach. If anything, it's going to be a distrust of the media, because the players that are involved today, Matt Corral and Lane Kiffin, have all been, I think, burned by the media at some point. And so they're going to be highly guarded, and they're going to say what they say. But everything is going to build up them. They're going to use the media today to build up their brand, but they're not really going to give them anything. So don't expect anything. But that's the way Media Day is going to go. But the excitement, I think it was Ryan McGee did a preview on it. And it's like all these coaches talking about how excited they are. It will work to build people up and get them excited about it. It's the strangest thing. People need validation to be super excited for what's going on. They need that. And that's fine. That's great. But in a situation like this year, we have a couple more weeks until fall camp, but it's officially because of that excitement. And you can feel that level raise of, well, this football season's here. Let's do this. This is all real. Yesterday we had Shane Beamer, Dan Mullen, and Ed Orgeron. Today, Josh Heupel, Mark Stoops, Kirby Smart, and Lane Kiffin. Let's do this. And this 4-day adventure that we have. Today is Kiffin, tomorrow's Leach, by the way, in case y'all are curious about that. But tomorrow I anticipate getting on here and talking about what was said, what they're going to do, and it'll be fun. It'll get down into the nuts and bolts of actually breaking down what's happening. We're not doing list season anymore. We're into talking season, but we're going to get to camp in a little bit. We're hoping tonight. It hasn't been set up. It hasn't been done, but I'm hoping to get an instant reaction done tonight from Media Days from Hoover. So if I can make that happen, look for that. If not, I apologize for bringing it up. Tonight, we have the Best of the West. That is Kevin Bohannon and Jake Thomas leading the ship on that. You saw Beast of the East last night with Craig Ladd and Corey Burton talking about the Eastern Division. This is going to be the Western Division equivalent. This is going to be a conference look at what's going on, but it's going to be like narrowed into a division. It's going to be really cool. And it's outside perspectives, because I wanted you guys to have outside perspectives, because that matters. we like to pretend it doesn't matter, but it matters. So they're going to, discuss what's important to them, and you're going to get to see. Need to change that. I apologize for that. That was a typo. I fat thumbed that, so I will get that edited. I apologize for that, for the name. And we can do what we need to do with college football. I'll get that edited right after the show. I apologize for that. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk about breakout players for the fall and breakout players for the fall and what we can look at for the day. So let me go through and do some editing real quick, and I will come back and handle that. So appreciate that. All right. Welcome back to the POMcast. We fixed the typo, so congratulations for that. But do apologize for that. Nothing was meant by that. It was just a fat thumb type of thing. Now, I am really excited about this year. Before we get started, I do want to tell you about the Rebel Walk. Evelyn and her team do a fantastic job. They provide a subscriber level experience for no money. All that it costs you is your time, and boy, oh boy, is it worth it. So they have experts for all three of the major sports, everything that's going on. We do all kinds of stuff, instant reactions, previews, all kinds of stuff video-wise that I work with them, but they provide a print alternative to what's going on. So give them a look at the rebelwalk.com. That is the rebelwalk.com. All right, breakout players for this year. I'm looking for newcomers, so that'd be transfers and signees. That's where I'm going with that. Number one on the list is I'm absolutely looking at Tysheem Johnson. I've been high on him ever since he signed back in December. He's a kid that has honey badger type traits about him. Now, I'm not saying he's the honey badger. I'm saying he has honey badger traits. And if that is developed and that works, there's a chance he can make a play. Now you can see from the spring game that the ball finds him. For whatever reason, the ball finds where he is going to be. He should have had 2 or 3 picks in the spring game. Ended up with 1. but not bad for a true freshman that was 15 practices into his college career at that point. But is just a great player. I'm looking forward to seeing him grow and develop over the years and seeing what he can become. Number 2, I'm looking at Braylon Brown. He is a receiver in the mold of, I'm not going to say Laquan, I'm not going to say Dante, but he's kind of in between. He's going to play on the outside. He's a great player. If it wasn't for COVID last year and him committing so early, he would have had a chance to move up and be a 5-star. He is a very smooth player, extremely smooth. And whenever the first instinct was to rank him extremely high, and they dropped him down a little bit after they committed to Ole Miss because for whatever reason they do that. So that's all part of it. You can accept it and move on, but he'd have a chance to make a 5-star review if they were able to do the camps and everything that they normally do. He has that kind of talent. Number 3, I'm looking at, I believe, Chance Campbell. Let's see. No, J.J. Henry, out of Texas. Great player. He's a true slot receiver. You see him and he would be like an Elijah Moore normally, but you put him out there, he's more of an Waddle type slot receiver. Sorry, my head is moving around to different areas. He's a Waddle type slot receiver. He's not going to be like Elijah Moore. He's going to be more speed and not so much side to side wiggle that Elijah Moore can do. Now, I'm not saying Elijah Moore's slow. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying how they operate is a little bit differently. Both players are probably equally as quick and equally as fast, but the way they do things puts them into that side-to-side category or that straight line category. And Jalen Waddle absolutely was in that speed category and is a very sudden player. Great player out of Texas. I'm looking forward to see what he can do in the slot. Now, we also heard that John Rice Plumlee was potentially moving over there. I'm interested to see what that looks like. I'm interested to see a lot of stuff with camp because, it's weird, but not a lot of practice stuff has happened over the last couple of years. So there's not been a super amount there for development. We got a season in last year, but that was off of just a regular game week type practice situation for camp. And camp didn't happen, and spring practice didn't happen. This year, spring happened. This year, camp's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to see how they can develop, and it should happen relatively quickly. Yeah. So next up, Chance Campbell out of Maryland. Honorable mention, all Big Ten linebacker. He's an athletic kind of guy. He is someone that you can count on to be a little bit more athletic. Everybody thinks of the Iowa type linebacker from 1996 when a Big Ten linebacker comes up on the board. This is not that type of player. This is not a slow, plodding type player. Who is the guy that Hugh Freeze signed it on signing day a few years ago that stolen from Michigan State? He's not that type of guy. So this is somebody that was recruited by DJ Durkin to play in DJ's system, to fit his system. And I'm interested to see what he's going to look like, playing alongside Momo and Lakeith Henry. And, of course, fifth of all, I'm looking at Tywone Malone. I think he is going to break out. I think he is going to be in a position to really do things for the team. And you will see him this year flash. He will absolutely flash. And that is going to lead him into the future. Now, Jamon Gordon and Isaiah Iton, I'm equally excited to see them. But with Tywone having 4 years, I'm really going to put him on the list and look at what he's doing. Now, this year, I expect Isaiah and Jamon to make a play for a starting role. I expect Taiwan to flash, relieving these guys of duty. And by next year, I expect Taiwan to be one of the guys. I expect him to displace them. But that's just all part of it. It's going to be all part of it. And I'm going to be really excited to see the process between, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And this list, I named as a breakout player, a defensive lineman, a linebacker, and a defensive back. That's all 3 levels to go with 2 wide receivers. And that's not even hitting Matt Corral or Jerry and Ely or John Rice Plumlee or guys on the outside like Braylon Sanders and Jonathan Mingo. We've been waiting on Jonathan Mingo for a couple of years now. Next year could be his year to break out. He's got all the tools. So there's a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And basically what they can do, what they will do. And like I said, I'm really, really excited about this football season, more so than I've been in quite a long time, probably since 2016. So I'm probably going to give you a couple minutes. I'm going to give you a couple minutes back now. Give you a couple minutes back. Enjoy media days today. Lane Kiffin, Matt Corral, Jalen Jones. The schedule is up. I'll put it up real quick. Take that in for the next 30 seconds or so. And know where the players are going to be and how to watch. It's going to be on the SEC network, but essentially a 2-hour proposition that they're going to talk to players, they're going to talk to coaches, and then they're going to break down the questions that they see as outsiders, what Ole Miss needs to do. So enjoy that, enjoy the day, and we'll be back tomorrow with more POMcast. Until then, howdy toddy.